Hello, my name is Sophie and welcome to this week's video. This week I wanted to talk all about books. On my blog I talked about 3 books that I'm really excited that are going to come out this year, so if you're interested in what new releases I have pre-ordered, there will be a link in the description down below. However, my plan for this video was to talk about the books I've already read this year. Let's take a few steps back. I've been using Goodreads for a while now. I really like the way that it tracks what you're reading and you can see what other people are reading and you can get reviews, and I just really like the social media for books app. And the last couple of years I've set myself reading goals. So last year in 2019 I wanted to read 12 books, which is 1 a month. I ended up reading 9, which is pretty good considering I was just kind of teetering back into reading and getting myself back into the reading habit. 2020, however, we are full on back into the reading habit. I set myself the same goal of 12 books and I've read 11 already. That's Alexa going off downstairs. So I'm already smashing this year's goal. I'm about to start my 12th book, which is further away than I thought it was. I'm going to be reading Be With Me by Jaylin. So I've read 11 books this year and I was gonna talk about all of the books I'd read. However, I made a video earlier this year with the 12 books I plan to read this year, and the 11 books I have read are just the ones from that video. So if you want to see what I'm already reading, either follow me on Instagram where I've been posting reviews, follow me on Goodreads where I post all my updates, or I'll link that video either in the end card or in the description down below. There was 12 books. One of them was this book called Spirit Walker, which as I was reading the blurb I realised was a sequel, but we will get to that. So here I have, including the one I'm about to start tonight, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 more books. And at the rate I'm going, I'm currently reading 4 books a month. So that will take me to midsummer. So I thought I'd just talk about the books that I'm going to read for the rest of the year. What I did last time was just like hold them up and read the blurb. So let's go with that. So Be With Me by Jaylin. I'm going to start this one tonight because I just finished All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. And I really liked it. I gave it a 5-star review on Goodreads. Very good. There'll be a review on my Instagram in the next couple of days. There are a lot of reasons why Teresa and Jace should steer clear of each other. Firstly, Teresa is Jace's best friend's little sister, and Jace has a pretty good idea of how Cam will feel about anyone messing her around. Secondly, Teresa's dreams of being a dancer have just been put on hold, maybe permanently. The last thing she needs is a player like Jace distracting her when she needs to find direction. Thirdly, Jace has a secret. A big one, and he's not ready to risk sharing it with anyone apart from the people closest to his heart, but there is one electric reason why they can't stay away from each other. Light-hearted teen romantic fiction. Pretty easygoing, I think, depending on what that twist is. Next, we're moving on to The Hunted, which is one of the books that I got from the book warehouse that I told you about in the last video, and I got this for $1.99. $1.99. You can't argue with that. So The Hunted by Alex Shearer. Where could he go? Where could he hide? Taryn is born into a world where both the dreams and nightmares of medical science have come true. People look younger and live for longer, but real children are rare. They are bought and sold, won and lost, and live in fear of being stolen, or worse. So Taryn knows what it is to have a price on his head. As one of the few natural-born children around, he's something that science can't make and money can't buy. Every day he's stalked by the terror of being taken. He's one of the hunted. Next we have Love, Rosie, previously published as Where Rainbows End by Cecilia Ahern. I don't know why I have the film version of the book cover. I very rarely get film versions. It might be because Sam Claflin. I have a soft spot for Sam Claflin. But yeah, this is a chunky book. This is one of the most of the books I've read so far this year have had 200 to 300 pages. The one I just finished had nearly 400, and that was the longest one I've read this year. So this one might take me a little bit longer. But yeah, it's about a film. It's not about a film. It's been made into a film, which I haven't seen. A story about love and how life gets in the way. Best friends since forever, Rosie and Alex have shared their hopes, dreams and firsts. But one awkward moment at 18, one missed opportunity, and life sends them hurtling in different directions. Although they stay in touch, misunderstandings, circumstances and sheer bad luck seem to be conspiring to keep them apart. Can they gamble everything, even their friendship, on true love? The Century Device, which was $2.99. I'm very proud of these prices. Which says, to all, who's it by? The Century Device by M. John Harrison. I'll try and link them all below if I remember. To all outward appearances, John Truck was just another low-life spaceship captain, but appearances can be deceptive. He was also the last of the Centurions, or at least half of him was, which in turn meant he was the only person who could operate the Century Device, a sentient bomb which might hold the key to ending a vicious space war once and for all. The original retail value was $7.99, I got it for $2.99. The next book is called Scars by Catherine Ford. There's like a shiny guitar on the front, I don't know if you can tell. The blurb of this one doesn't really say anything about what the book's about, so I think I kept it because it looks cool and I need to find out what it's about, but I don't actually have high hopes for this. Danny Boy's got his head shaved for Grandpa Dan's funeral, just to see their faces. Is he grieving? Too right. Instead of sitting in this church, he could be away in his room, Scars pumping on the speakers. The way Scars play, they could wake the dead. I'm assuming Scars is a band, and I assume it's got something to do with waking the dead, because he's at a funeral, but that blurb is just horrific. The next one, One Day by David Nichols. This is a very famous book which a lot of people have read, and it's not really my kind of book. However, it's one of those like modern classics that I feel like I should have read. I've not heard a bad word about it, except the film. So I have no expectations, but we're going to give it a go. You can live your whole life not realising that what you're looking for is right in front of you. 15th of July 1988. Emma and Dexter meet on the night of their graduation. Tomorrow they must go their separate ways. So where will they be on this one day next year, and the year after that, and every year that follows? It's an interesting concept, but I don't know if it's a bit too lovey-dovey for me. Verdigris Deep by Frances Hardinge. This one got a pretty shiny colour. One night, Ryan and his friends steal coins from a well for their bus fare home. Soon after, strange things begin to happen. Peculiar marks tingle on Ryan's knuckles, and light bulbs mysteriously explode. Then the well witch appears, with her fountains for eyes and gargled demands. From now on, the friends must serve her and the wishes that lie rotting at the bottom of her well. I think that sounds really cool. I'm really excited about it. Moving on, because this video could get long and boring very quickly. 9 minutes 20 seconds by Gary M. Pomerantz. I'm sorry if I'm butchering these names. They were ordinary people on everyday journeys, thinking this would be a trip just like any other. This is a book about extraordinary heroism that people. This is a book about the extraordinary heroism that people are capable of. It tells the true story of 29 people caught up in one of the most feared catastrophes, a passenger plane crash, and explores what it means to have your life turned upside down by the events of just 9 minutes and 20 seconds. Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. Rainbow Rowell is my favourite modern author. Her book Fangirl, which is on the back because this is kind of related to it, is my favourite book of all time. And this, to my understanding, is the character in Fangirl writes fan fiction, and this is the fan fiction of the fictional. It's basically like a fake version of Harry Potter, so that she didn't get sued by Harry Potter. So it's not horror. It's like not Harry Potter fan fiction, but it is, if that makes any sense at all. Here's the blurb. Simon Snow is the worst chosen one who's ever been chosen. That's what his roommate Baz says, and Baz might be evil and a vampire and a complete git, but he's probably right. Half the time, Simon can't even make his wand work, and the other half he sets something on fire. His mentor's avoiding him, his girlfriend broke up with him, and there's a magic-eating monster running around wearing Simon's face. Baz would be having a field day with all this if he were here. It's the last year at Watford School of Magics, and Simon's infuriating nemesis didn't even bother to show up. Carry On is a love letter to love stories and the power of words, to every chosen one who ever had more on their mind than saving the world. I have a funny feeling this is just going to make me want to reread Fangirl, but I'm trying really hard not to reread while I've got things to read, you know? These 3 books I have bought recently. I shouldn't have, but when they're 3 for £5, you can't say no. Why would you say no to that? So these three are all kind of adult chick lit kind of esque that I thought I'd give a go, because they're the equivalent of like £1.75 each or something. So this one's called The Man Who Didn't Call by Rosie Walsh. Imagine you meet a man, spend 7 glorious days together and fall in love, and it's mutual. You've never been so certain of anything. So when he leaves for a long booked holiday and promises to call from the airport, you have no cause to doubt him, but he doesn't call. Your friends tell you to forget him, but you know they're wrong. Something must have happened. There must be a reason for his silence. What do you do when you finally discover you're right, that there is a reason, and that reason is the one thing you didn't share with each other? The truth. So this one is called Love at First Like by Hannah Orenstein. And it says, she'll need time to fake it till she makes it. Eliza Roth and her sister Sophie co-own a jewellery shop in Brooklyn. One night after learning of an ex's engagement, Eliza accidentally posts a photo of herself wearing a diamond ring on that finger to her Instagram account, beloved by 100,000 followers. Sales skyrocket, press rolls in, and Eliza learns that her personal life is good for business. So she has a choice: continue the ruse or clear up the misunderstanding. With mounting financial pressure, Eliza sets off to find a fake fiancé. Fellow entrepreneur Blake seems like the perfect match on paper, and in real life he shows promise too, if only Eliza didn't feel also drawn to someone else. But Blake doesn't know Eliza is engaged. Sophie asks Eliza for an impossible sum of money, and Eliza's lies start to spiral out of control. Now she can either stay engaged online or fall in love in real life. So this one's called Our Child of the Stars by Stephen King. Stephen King. Molly and Jean Myers are happy until tragedy blighted their hopes of children. During the years of darkness and despair, they each put their marriage in jeopardy, but now they are starting to rebuild their fragile bond. Then the meteor crashes into Amber Grove, devastating the small New England town and changing their lives forever. Molly, a nurse caught up in the thick of disaster, is given care of a desperately ill patient rescued from the wreckage. A sick boy with a remarkable appearance, an orphan who needs a mother, and soon the whole world will be looking for him. Corey's arrival has changed everything, and the Myers will do anything to keep him safe. And then, before I move on to the last two, I thought I would briefly mention the 2 books that I have pre-ordered. I have mentioned them in the blog post that I previously mentioned in this video, but those 2 books will probably come out whilst I'm reading these books. So I pre-ordered The Evolution, which is the sequel to Eve of Man by Giovanna and Tom Fletcher, which was my favourite book of last year, and I'm so excited for the sequel. So I pre-ordered that in hardback from Waterstones. I think I got a signed edition as well, because why wouldn't you when they're the same price and they're available? So that comes out in April, providing coronavirus doesn't destroy the world. And the other book I pre-ordered is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, who is the guy that wrote Notes on a Nervous Planet and Reasons to Stay Alive. But this is a fiction book, and I'm really excited to find out what his fiction style is like. But I pre-ordered that one on my Kindle because I actually don't like hardback books, because I find them really hard to read in bed because I'm lazy and weak. And I'm not 100% sure about it, whereas I know I'm going to love The Evolution, so I wanted that one in physical in physical book form, but I'm not so sure about the Matt Haig one, so I pre-ordered that one on my Kindle, which is 5 years old and still running like the day I got it, which is amazing. But yeah, I thought that would be a good way to start balancing, you know, like not having printed copies of books, saving the environment, blah 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 blah, but also I don't like hardback books. It's slightly cheaper, I think, and it's a good way if you're not sure you're going to love the book, because then I can always go and buy the paperback when that comes out if I do absolutely adore the book. So these last 2 are kind of condition reads. So I've got Where She Went by Gail Forman, which is the sequel to If I Stay, which I read absolutely years ago, like 5+ years ago, and I really enjoyed it. But I know I need to reread If I Stay before I read this, so it's almost like 2 in 1. So it's at the bottom of my pile so that I can read If I Stay again first, and then Where She Went. And then Spirit Walker is the book I talked about in the last video I made, which is another sequel, but I don't have the first book, So if I get through this whole pile and for some reason I can't get to my mum's house and get my other books, I will buy the previous book on my Kindle, read that first, and then either read this if I enjoy the series or donate it to charity. And there's that. I'm so in love with reading right now. If I could drop everything and just spend all day reading, I would. Let me know what you're reading or any thoughts you have on reading and Goodread goals in the comments below. Is there any kind of booktubers or book Instagrammers I should be following? Because whilst I've been a huge lover of books for like my entire life, I've only really recently got back into reading because GCSE and A-level English absolutely destroyed my love for books. So if there's any creators that you really love and you think I should follow, please do let me know, because I'd love to have more of it on in my online life. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're having a great day, even in this uncertain and scary coronavirus times. And I'll see you next time. Bye!